Hello friends, family and other creatures of the sea. Today we have China's greatest player in time here in the bottom right, spawning on Blackburn against none other than Alpha Axis Shin Hee Byum, also known as Ragnarok. And Ragnarok is one of those players that looks very good some days and looks terrible other days. Extremely inconsistent, also inconsistent in between matchups, tends to have absolutely fantastic ZVT. A little less interesting ZVP, and the ZVZ also isn't quite it majority of the time. However, this is a ZVT and I think we're going to see a great match here. Time known to have very good TVZ as well. I think the first time I truly realized was in the Aces Rock tournament in, I want to say 2019, but also could have been 2018, where Time almost managed to take out Cyril in the quarterfinals. Ended up losing 2-3. I was gonna say spoiler alert, but then again, that was about 3 to 4 years ago, so I doubt you're still gonna watch it if you haven't yet. But yeah, that was the first time I remember thinking, well, this Time guy is really not bad. And after that, I've seen him do more good performances, but it does feel like he's kind of plateaued on this level where he's just below the top players, but he can take games and sometimes take a series of the top guys. But he's just barely not there yet, and it felt like he really did have the potential to get there, but not quite. Lately though, he's been showing up some good performances again, some good results, and I'm curious to see what he has in store today against Ragnarok. So Ragnarok, like I mentioned, he is a very good ZVT player, and I think some people even call him a ZVT specialist. The funny thing is when you watch his ZVT, is that he isn't even necessarily good in all parts. He's just extremely good at playing Lingbane Mura. His mid game in ZVT is actually phenomenal. It's brilliant to watch. His Muralist movement, his run-bys, his engagements are all very good. The one thing that he tends to lack a little bit is his creep spread, because he is so focused on attacking, he's so focused on dealing damage and trying to finish the game because he doesn't like that late game very much. We often see him kind of forget about his creep threat and find it less necessary than the other parts of his game. There's 4 links out, all of them are moving straight into the main base as this Reaper says hello. Time known to have pretty decent Reaper micro as well. We'll see if that's going to matter at all this game. I think one of those links should go down. Oh, they will all survive for now, as Time actually playing it very conservative with his Reaper. Doesn't really want to take any major damage yet. Means he's most likely going to go back in for that tumor snipe. Oh! He's not gonna get the tumor, but will end up getting a link, so it's not the worst thing in the world. Pretend to go for the tumor, the links come forward, he snipes one of the links, and tada! You got timed. Starport about to start. Double gas opener here before triple CC. Important to note, of course. We see the Hellions being built, another Marine coming in. Could lead still to a tech lab, but majority of the time it feels more like a Viking to me, you know? It feels more like a Viking to me, because the tap clap would be a little bit delayed, would delay your first Banshee, if that is what you want to do. Could also still be a medevac though. We have seen people go for these medevac drops, so it wouldn't completely surprise me. Yeah, this tech lab is just slightly too late for it to be transferred over to the starport, so curious to see what we'll get. It's going to be a lip here, and a lip first, okay. So this is something that used to be really popular back in the day. You'd see one Liberator into a second Liberator, 6 to 8 cars being built as well. Nowadays it kind of fell off because Zergs have gotten so good at spreading their overlords and seeing everything coming that they always have their queens and their spores in position. So rather than opening straight up with a Liberator, what a lot of Terrans have been doing is going Viking into Liberator. Oh, this is a huge scout, by the way. He had to cancel this Marauder. He had to cancel the Marauder because the Overlord was there. So it's going to be Liberator into Medevac, I think. Yeah. Because it's going to be a Hellbent Marauder push here. This is really cool. And this is a build that we don't see that often. We have double spores on the way right now to deal with that lip. We have a Baneling nest coming in, which is good against Hellbats. Banelings are very powerful. Don't forget that this push is going to have one less Marauder than he would like to have, because he had to cancel that, or that Overlord would have seen it. Don't forget, if a Marauder comes out, immediately Ragnarok would know what's kicking off and could start preparing for it. Because then it's so obvious that it's concussive shell that is being researched rather than something else. Wondering if Ragnarok has an idea though right now. I mean, he has this low ground, he sees these Hellions moving out at this point. Here comes what? 2 Marauders, 2 Marines. This obviously should have been 3 Marauders, but life is life. Helbets are gonna start morphing. Liberator starts attacking this Overlord. I don't quite think that Ragnarok is completely aware of what's kicking off here. Right now he's gonna realize, immediately starts morphing 7 Banelings. Might just be a little bit too late though. The Helbets are gonna get morphed. Liberator could start zoning out this natural. Oh yeah, there we go. If he target fires well with this Liberator, a lot of these Banelings could start going down. Only really attacking the Queens for now though. 2 Banelings do get taken out before they reach the Helbets and the Marauders. Drones around on Helbets, that is something you do not want to do. Like hugging lava. It's something I would not recommend to most people. 8 workers have gone down already on the side of Ragnarok, and more links are streaming in. The Spores helping out against that medevac as well. A lot of Queens have fallen too. Overall, resources lost heavily in favor here of the Chinese Terran player. Of course, in order to execute this build order, it also required him to cut in his worker count a bit. His 3rd CC is delayed, his extra barracks are slower. So, although it looks bad, I'm not quite sure if this is the end of the world. Creep hasn't necessarily been cleared. We still have some active creep tumors, so the creep will remain fine at least. As long as these active creep tumors stay alive. More Queens are in production, Baneling speed is on the way. I'd be surprised to see extra gases being thrown down and we see a Muta play. Because usually you only play Muta if your early game is really quite tight. Otherwise, it's much better to go into those 4-gas Ling Bane type of compositions. I think that might just be what we're seeing here. Double Evo coming down. Ragnarok did rush into lair, so I do believe that his initial intention was to get those Mutalisks, but as his early game didn't quite go as smooth as he would like to, I think he kind of adapted and says, okay, double Evo is also fine. I can play Ling Bane and eventually go into Hydralisk and then perhaps into Lurkers later on. Of course, he's completely capable of playing that. It's just not quite where his main area of expertise lays, which tends to be the Mutalisk with those Lings and those Banelings. 6 cars still alive. We've built 16 cars so far in this game, and I'd be surprised to see any more. It's nice to still have a couple of cars alive though. Allows you to clear creep here and there, allows you to be safer against run-bys. Okay, we're actually seeing a 5th gas as well as a Hydralisk then. Majority of the time this does indicate some type of mid-game push rather than a more stable and safe mid-game. And this is kind of in line with what we know about Ragnarok, is that he loves to attack. He likes being the aggressor, and basically by doing run-bys the entire time, and then eventually with one big push finishing the game, that tends to be his game plan. And I'm absolutely not surprised to see him add that 5th gas and go into those Hydras. So majority of the time when Zerk is going straight into Lurkers and kind of wants to skip that Hydra phase, they stay on 4 gas a little longer while attacking into Hive, that type of stuff, get more drones out. But with Hydra Bane you can play off a relatively low drone count from 68, 69. Oh, this is not actually pretty good control. I was gonna say it's not good control, but it was fine. You can play on a drone count of like 68, 75, 78, that type of stuff. While if you're going Ling Bane into Lurker, because you're going to need so much gas eventually, you do want to be on like those 87, 90-ish drone counts, which is just a lot higher. 8 more drones on the way here, as a couple of Marines are going to show up, take out 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 workers before Ragnarok truly responded to that threat. It's a big deal because the gold is of course gonna give a big boost in income if it is completely mining. I'm surprised he didn't have any units there because this is such a common pushing location. Time is gonna continue going towards that area with a Hellbat here, a couple of mines in the mix as well. We'll see exactly what he's gonna end up doing, but it is completely possible that he gets a decent trader. All of this is semi off creep at least. Ragnarok is setting up a bit of an engagement, a bit of a surround here. I think Time might just get caught here. Good splits on those links, ends up losing 6 to those 2 mines, or 7 to those 2 mines. And once again secures his gold. It's gonna go for the push. You see, I actually thought he was gonna go for the push. It would have surprised me, but also it wouldn't have surprised me because it's such a Ragnarok move. It's gonna go into Lurker and Infestation Pit. Off of this worker count, it's a little bit surprising to me. No 5th base yet. Gold hasn't been mining this entire time. I mean, there's no real map control from him either, which is going to make this a lot harder. we have these queens actually dealing some darn decent damage on these medevacs. At least pushing them away for now. Double tank production is also happening. Orbital domain has a couple of scans remaining. 5th CC is on the way, and we have the 5th base as well here for Ragnarok, who's still on a very low drone count, 74. He has this weird army that feels like it needs to attack. He's not attacking with it yet. At this point I almost feel like he's afraid to die, which is very difficult to do, or tends to be difficult to do when you have these big Ling Bane compositions, especially when there's not a whole lot of mines out yet. Good engagement here for Ragnarok. Gonna take out a couple of these Marines. Supply just isn't all that high though for the Zerg here. First 2 lurkers are on the way. 2-2 is about to finish up. Seismic Spine, of course, not even started researching, as the hive is well, halfway done at this point. Creep on the bottom side hasn't been denied in a while. Well, last time I think were those Hellions that denied these tumors, but I wouldn't mind seeing a little bit of an army ahead there. And I think that might just be what Time decides to do. This sensor tower placement is really cute, by the way. It seems kind of exposed, but it's such a key area where there's almost always going to be units that it's so dangerous here for Ragnarok to even move towards it. 3-3 starts for Time, and that means he's going to pull ahead in upgrades. Same time, an 8 Marine drop heading towards the far top side, trying to perhaps get some damage on in this 5th base. We're still completely lacking gases here, by the way. Look at that. Now gas 7 and 8 is being taken. Gas 9 and 10, not yet. And when you're playing lurkers, you just don't have a whole lot of gas, and that can be a huge issue. Lurkers will be capable of defending that high, or that high up base here, that 5th. At the same time, what's kicking off here? Oh, a couple of lips are gonna siege up and will be capable of taking care of these lurkers. Tanks in the middle of the map. Big round by. This is the Ragnarok type of play that we see so often. Does need to be careful that he doesn't lose too many links. These links will be capable of clearing some SCVs, but what was that? That was like 30 links against 10 SCVs. Not quite sure if that's worth it, especially because Time already had a relatively high worker count. It's of course a lot less painful if you lose 10 workers if you have 74, 75 workers rather than when you have 55. Like, that wasn't a great trade, but it feels like Ragnarok just wanted to stay alive rather than anything else. First 2 Vipers are on the way right now, and with those he can probably start fighting these Liberators, pull them into his army. Marines are trying to take out this base, but that's a very long road there, taking out that base, because there's only 5 Marines that can shoot at the time. Once again, we have this Ling run by heading in towards the 3rd. Do take out a tank this time and another 11 workers. Now it's becoming a little bit more important, as Time really hasn't been rebuilding workers all that much. These 2 links managed to stay alive as well. These 2 lips are still here. So this gold is being denied, but as we can see, the income here on Ragnarok's side is just looking very healthy. His worker count on 80. There's lurkers in position. Right now we're going to see a bit of a flank on these tanks, and well, he's going to get absolutely nothing done. I think he almost got a tank, but then in the end ended up not getting it. 2 tanks do go down on the back end of that army, which is nice. We finally have this hatchery getting into the red. This took a very long time for these units, by the way. I feel like a tank should be capable of shooting that from a distance. Yeah, there we go. Time's gonna sacrifice this tank just to get that base. I do like that. Gold base, of course, has a lot of potential for high income. At the same time, we see a rotation out of Time going towards this bottom side base. There is a lot of banelings here in this army. And where are the lurkers? I think they're all kind of defensively here on top. At the same time, we have a Liberator harassing on these queens. Spore's gonna move in position, we'll take care of that. So taking a look at this army returning back home. Tank took out the base, and I think then the Liberator took the tank into the Nidus, or into the lurkers, excuse me. I'm so curious to see what Ragnarok's plan here is. I haven't really seen him play a lot of passive late games. So I'd be surprised to see a passive late game. He's a guy that wants to be in control, that likes to have the momentum on his side. And right now, there's not a whole lot of momentum on his side. He's being pushed back. He's been losing bases left, right, and center. Well, mainly bottom and center, I guess. The left base is still alive. Failing run by is going to get caught here by Time. His tanks are in position. Planetary over here also would have taken quick care of that. Do like that sensor tower that's being built up here. It's going to allow Time to move his army in a bit more of a liberal way, just wherever he wants to, because he does have that vision up top. He doesn't constantly need to be worrying about that. He'll get a warning sign when something shows up there. We have a Spire on the way, as well as pathogen glands. Seems like Ragnarok wants to actually start transitioning into Broodlord Infestor rather than go into that Nidus phase. So there's a couple of phases in the late game when you play Lurkers, and often the first phase... Oh. 2 full medevacs get taken out there for free by about 3-4 Hydras. Nothing lost on the side of Ragnarok. So that actually was a good trade, and the first of many good trades. This absolutely was not a good trade, and I think Ragnarok is well aware of that. I wouldn't mind seeing these Lurkers just heading towards this general area. Feels like there's definitely some potential there to harass that gold base of his opponent a little bit. Doesn't seem like Ragnarok is truly feeling this. Oh. Gonna scout for these tanks, sees the tanks and says, okay, I lost those links, but perhaps another day. He's gonna straight move forward into these ghost lines. There's not that many tanks here actually, so perhaps it is possible. Decent abducts here coming on top of these ghosts. A lot of these ghosts do end up surviving though, and that was not a very good fight, at least resource-wise. Ragnarok still maxed out, Time isn't. Time is gonna push in again. 3 more Lurkers are on the way. Snipes as well as Cloaked Ghost. Are dishing out a lot of damage. Time is pushing forward right now. This base is going to fall yet again. These Lurkers are going to die as well. 6 more Lurkers are being morphed. 5 are still remaining. They're coming back from the top side right now, trying to defend this area, because Time looks like he just wants to keep pushing right now. 3-3 upgrades on his bio. +2 on the tanks. Vehicle plating level 1 as well, so there's a lot of damage output. And on top of that, all of these ghosts. Ragnarok struggling to get decent fights here. Look at that. Earlier he was only down 3k, now he's down almost 10k in the resources lost. These ghosts have just been so efficient in these fights. Snipes are going to be going down, and Time cleans up this army in a very professional manner. The pest control is here. He's carrying a sniper rifle. More tanks moving forward. Look at the patience, which, oh my god, as I say that, he unsieges every single tank. It's actually gonna go in unsieged. A good blinding cloud flank here out of Ragnarok is gonna be capable of hitting a decent amount of these units, but the ghost in the back still capable of sniping. GG gets called as Time wins this game here on Blackburn in a pretty convincing fashion, I would say. Well played by him. Ragnarok tried his best. Just wasn't good enough this time around. That's going to be it for today. Thanks everyone so much for watching. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hopefully we'll see you all next time for a new video. Thank you so much for watching, and bye bye.